Hey guys, so this is part three of my Bolt tutorial. So in part one, we built this text to image generation tool. In part two, we set up a database with Supabase, and part three is going to be all about setting up authentication for your app, right? So we have our app opened up. Let's just give Bolt a minute to load everything. All right, sweet. So basically the last time we built out this text to image generator, it was super simple. You just add a text prompt here and it uses some stable diffusion to generate an image. And then in part two, we set up the database. So that's basically a place where all these images are stored. So you have kind of like this gallery view and you have images stored here, like the ones we generated previously. But yeah, today I wanted to set up authentication for the app. In my experience, again, like I've been using Supabase for this. It's been pretty straightforward, frankly. So let's do that super quick. Always start with a prompt, of course. So let's just say, all right, so the prompt I'm using is I want to set up authentication using Supabase Auth. Please give me the necessary steps. So it's going to do this thing. Something we need to do is go to Supabase, to our database dashboard, and then basically go to authentication. So you can see how this looks, and let's just go back to Bolt and see what it says. All right, so I've set up a complete authentication system with the following features: user registration and login, protected routes that require authentication, authentication state management, sign out, right. To complete the setup, here's what we'll need to do. So enable email authentication in your Supabase dashboard. All right, so I have no idea how to do this, so let's just ask it, give me step-by-step instructions. That's the easiest. So clearly it seems like it's done something on the front end here, but I don't know how to set this up on Supabase. So the best way to do that is to ask. So let's see what it says. All right, so I think Bolt being Bolt, it's kind of backed itself into a corner. So let's just attempt these fixes. Right. Let's just ask something specific, right? So what specific steps do I need to take on Supabase to activate Auth and make sure it works perfectly? Right, so email authentication. So we go to our dashboard, we go to authentication, we go to providers, we enable email. All right, secure email change. Right. All right, so let's do this for, right? Like we're in authentication. So we go to like providers, I guess, email. Okay, seems like this is set up, right? Cool. Configure site URL. Okay, so go to authentication and then URL configuration and set site URL to your application's URL. I have no idea what our application URL is. I think we'll have to. What is my application URL? Sorry for the typos. Okay, it apparently needs to deploy for that. All right, there you go. So this is the site URL. So we just use that, I guess. Save. Amazing. All right, what's next? All right, so this seems to be done. And then update email settings, optional but recommended. Okay, these are like templates and stuff, which we can do later. Configure password settings. Set up row level security. Go to SQL editor and run this code. So let's just copy this. Go to the SQL editor. Copy and paste. Run. Oh, there you go. So you need to update the database schema. So you need to add this user ID column, which is why we're getting this error. So what we can do is just like remove this and just do this first. So go back to the SQL editor, copy paste this. All right, essentially, the way I understand these errors is that it needs to update the way the database is structured, like some of the columns, to make sure that like each user ID is associated with the images that user generates, right? So it needs to make sure that flow is correct. And I feel like setting up auth before that is what's leading to this confusion. So I think what we're going to try to do now is revise the schema of the database, essentially like switch around the columns a little bit, and then set up auth. So all right, we need to go to our Supabase project dashboard. We need to navigate to the SQL editor and then copy and paste the contents of setup.sql. So let's go to code, setup.sql. There you go. So I guess we just select all, copy this, and then go to SQL editor, paste, run. Column user ID does not exist. All right. Supabase gives me this error. All right, I think now we can copy this code. Let's make the right changes, hopefully. Brilliant. That is done. So let's just go back to the steps, right? So these were the steps. We updated the database schema, then we copy paste this setup RLS, which again, I have no idea what it means, but let's do it. Perfect, done. So these two things are done. Now we need to test authentication, right? And we need to make sure our .env file has the Supabase URL and the Supabase anon key. So we have the anon key, we have the URL here. We should be good, you know, let's try it out. So I think what I'm going to do now is just hit deploy. All right, so yeah, let's go to our app. So here we are on the sign-in page. So this is our app URL, and let's try and sign up. So we create a new account. Let's say it's Yashid Spectral, and then like Bolt.123. All right, so there you go. So this is my Spectral email ID, and you have a sign up confirmation email from Supabase. I guess we just hit this link. Awesome, we're in. Check this out. So we have yashidspectral.to. We have a sign out button. So we are pretty much in. We have a gallery here. So yeah, let's try and create something. Mountains and waves. Right, there you go. So you have an image of mountains and waves. You have authentication built into your app. So let's try and sign out here. There you go. And basically, if you go to Auth, like the Auth tab in your Supabase, you can see that this user has popped up. This is the email we just registered. You get like a user ID here. You get a last sign in. And yeah, all your users will essentially show up here. And then another cool thing that you can do is basically configure email templates. So right now you have rate limits on the email. So, you know, if you're running like a full production app, you kind of have to use a provider like Loops, or Resend, I believe, is another popular provider. And they have really generous free tiers, so you should be good. Yeah, you can obviously use Supabase and like you can test out some emails, but they do rate limit. I'm not sure what the limit is, but I think it's like a few emails per hour or something like that, basically. But the template section can, you know, you can basically customize all your emails. So if you look at the email I received, it's not the best looking. So you can go here and kind of customize that stuff. But yeah, that's basically how you set up Auth. We can try and sign in. So let's say we already have an account. All right, let's try and sign in with my Spectral ID and then my password. Boom. There you have it. Awesome. Hope you guys are having fun building on Bolt, and I'll come back with part 4 very soon. I'm not sure what this next part should be about, so if you guys have some suggestions around topics that I should cover or things that I can build live, yeah, I'd love to do that. So yeah, cheers.